A while ago, I played Darkwatch for the PS2. I enjoyed it a lot. It had me wishing that there were more vampire-themed games based in the American Old West, so I discovered that the game Evil West existed. I was immediately interested. Evil West follows our protagonist, Jesse Rentier, a vampire hunter of the Rentier Institute, which is a government organization established during the days of the Founding Fathers. With the Industrial Revolution in full swing, the tides are beginning to turn in favor of humanity against the vampiric menace that calls themselves the Sanguisudes. However, when the Rentier headquarters burned down and their leader and father of Jesse, William Rentier, is severely injured, this progress is put in jeopardy. Now it's up to Jesse to save America and the world from the blood-sucking adversary. Combat is in third-person beat-em-up style, where you travel across each level while defeating a variety of enemies. You also occasionally need to solve simple environmental puzzles in order to proceed. There are several kinds of unique locations you'll be visiting, including snowy mountains, toxic swamps, and damp forests. It's all topped with a distinctly gritty steampunk flair. I was particularly impressed when I first encountered the remains of this giant beast. Also, there are lots of spiders, and leeches, big leeches, and bees. There's actually an arachnophobia mode you can adjust in order to get rid of the spiders, but no such option to turn off the other creepy crawlies. I don't know about you, but I would categorize giant blood-sucking leeches and venomous bees to be just as gross and unsettling as spider swarms. Well, if you're watching this, consider yourself warned, I guess. Combat mechanics include both melee attacks and gunplay. Melee combat involves using your signature Rentier Gauntlet, which can not only punch enemies into a bloody pulp, but also comes equipped with some nifty electricity-based attacks. Meanwhile, guns are handy for ranged attacks and for hitting weak spots, and you'll pick up more as you progress through the game. As you defeat enemies, you'll level up and earn perk points, which can be used to upgrade and unlock abilities. There's also lots of places where you can find money in order to upgrade your weapons. These upgrades can be quite pricey, so it's never a bad idea to go out of your way in order to find a few more bucks. There's also a co-op mode, where you can invite a friend to play. However, only the host is able to progress their story and characters, and the guest player's progress is lost when the session ends, so keep that in mind. Not only are there lots of attacks you can use against your enemies, but the combat is fast-paced and challenging. However, the variety never feels overwhelming, and the controls feel comfortable, even when you're in the heat of battle. While things occasionally feel tedious, it never fails to satisfy when you execute a gruesome finisher on a particularly tough enemy. For me, two of the best parts of the game are the final two bosses. They're tough as hell, but extremely satisfying and fun. In between ripping through vampiric foes, there are moments of calm where you can find bits of lore. This is where we're able to see how real-world American history was woven into the more fantastical narrative, as well as how the historical context shapes the characters you'll meet, which I thought was interesting. It makes me curious to see what the early days of the Rentier Institute were like during the establishment of the United States, or how it would evolve in the future, such as during World War II. There doesn't seem to be many vampire-themed games during those eras either, so I think that those would be some interesting settings to explore. I approached Evil West in the hopes to satisfy my thirst for some Old West vampire action, and I'm happy to say that I had tons of fun with this one. The gameplay is full of bloody, satisfying fun, and while the characters are fairly one-dimensional, they do a good job of establishing the setting and tone. So if you're itching for some vampires in the Wild West, then this game will not disappoint. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click like, and subscribe if you want to see more.